RPGaDay number 3. When were you first introduced to RPGs? Um, this is back in, it was late 1978 or might have been early 79. I I was with I had a bunch of friends. We used to play a lot of the bookcase games, the Avalon Hill games, war games, that sort of thing. We had a lot of fun with those. They're pretty simple, well, fairly easy games to follow because they had all their rules lined up in sequence and you followed a procedure for everything. So they were pretty easy to understand once you got the hang of it. But I wandered into the hobby store one day that we usually frequented. I seen this cool box set. It was called Gamma World, and this was the 1978 version, box version. So I looked at it and I seen that there was a map, like on the picture in the back. There was a map. It looked like there were some counters in it, and yeah, I thought, oh, this would be cool. Maybe me and my buddies will like to play this. This looks like a sci-fi kind of game. We played a lot of Starship Troopers was a popular game that we played too. So, and that was put out by Avalon Hill. I thought it would be something like that. So when I picked it up and I brought it home, I opened it up. There wasn't any dice in the box. In fact, those counters that I had seen pictured on the back picture on the back of the box were a makeshift dice. So they were chits that you would throw in a bag, and you draw them out in a to be your D20s and all the other dice that we didn't even know about. So when I was reading through the rules, I was really confused about this whole thing because there wasn't any side A versus side B, that sort of thing. Something that I was used to. It talked about the referee. I had no idea what a referee was. It did kind of explain it really kind of badly, and it didn't have it lined out in a sequence order of of turns and stuff like that. So I had no idea what the heck this was. But a buddy of mine, Stacy, his brother, Kel, was a guy that played Dungeons and Dragons, and this I didn't even know about this. And he explained to me that same kind of thing that his brother played. So I was introduced to Cal, and Cal had his room was full of miniatures. He had like huge armies of all these Ral Partha miniatures, and I was like, wow, and I seen all the books, the AD&D books that were there, and he kind of explained exactly how to play a role-playing game. So from there on, we started playing Dungeons and Dragons. So the original, well, not the original, but the big manual book, the first ones that came out, and that started me on my journey into role-playing games. Once we had the idea of how this was played, then I bought some dice. Actually, what I ended up doing was buying the basic Holmes Edition set, which had the dice in it that I could use in Gamma World as well, and that was my first set of polyhedral dice, and that's where it led to. Played a little bit of Gamma World. It was okay. It was a little weird. The rules were kind of weird. They were weird rules, so, but it was fun. It was a lot of looking up charts, which we were used to with the Avalon Hill games, and we proceeded from there. But yeah, that was my first journey into role-playing games. So way back when. And yeah, I went from there to eventually getting to second edition. And once we hit second edition, we were playing all kinds of role-playing games. Like um, there was like Twilight 2000. There was Space 1889. Wow, there was like there was also a homebrew that we played, sci-fi homebrew. Um, we got it all kinds of stuff. You know, paranoia, a lot of stuff. There was so many I can't even remember. Uh, there's a group of like maybe 8 of us in total that were just into all kinds of different games. You know, Mech Warrior, BattleTech, that kind of stuff. And yeah, it just grew from there. And but we mainly stuck it out with second edition. AD&D was our favorite, which is the reason why I like Castles and Crusades for my fantasy role playing game. Although Cipher, I might I'm gonna one day I'm gonna do Cipher as a fantasy game. See how that runs. So, anyways, that's my thoughts. That's RPG a Day number 3. Um, you know, if you feel like it, you know, tell me what your how you ended up getting introduced into RPGs in the comments below if you feel like it. Until then, talk to you guys later, and if you can, subscribe.